Welcome to the Luminary by AIESEC in SLIIT, where we interview some of the best Sri Lankan unique personalities for you to get inspired and motivated by going through their life stories and experiences. Now here's your host, Mr.Trevin Hannibal.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Luminary. And as you guys have been with us, you guys know what Luminary is all about. This is a podcast session where we interview celebrities in Sri Lanka, and we would like to listen to their success stories. And today, I have a guest who needs no introduction. She is one of the most prominent singers in Sri Lanka, and she comes from a family who has big names in this industry, and she is none other than Umara Sinhawansa. Hi Umara, how's it going?
Good. Thank you so much for having me. All is well on my end. A little exhausted, but all good.
You look good. So we are going to talk about so many things today, but the boys sent me a description about you, and there were so many things that I did not know about you. I would like to talk about the area that I would like to touch upon is about skill. How important is skill to be in the industry that you are? It says it is truly astonishing that while most South Asian artists are limited to a 3-octave vocal range, mastering the art of music, Umara and also your sister amplified their vocals up to a 4.5 octave. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think you could correct me. I think if you take a singer like Freddie Mercury, has an octave it's like 5. Octave of 5. I don't know whether I'm right on that, but we have seen the works of Freddie Mercury, and I have seen your work as well. And sometimes I see some videos on Instagram where you try to, I think it's a practice session that you do.
Yeah.
Like, how important is skill in what you do, and how do you harness it? And can you please take us through this?
Okay, as a vocalist and from a vocalist's perspective, skill is definitely an essential factor. It's not just a vocalist. You take an engineer, you take an accountant, you take a banker. They need to have the skill with regards to that, whatever their job or whatever their designation they look at, or whatever, even a doctor. The doctor needs to have the skill to operate on a person. So skill, it is just not, sent down to you by the Almighty. Yes, you have that in you, but getting it out there, and it's all practice. It's continuous practice, and skill is something that we need to work on an everyday basis. And with regards to the vocal range that you were talking about, so it's about 2 to 2.5 is the average vocal range for an Asian, Southeast Asian. So I did not like that, because my favorite vocalist was and still is Mariah and Whitney Houston, and the world record back in the day for a female vocalist was 5 octaves, which was like, wow, how is that even possible? And we are Southeast Asians. Why? I mean, why? What's the question?
So it should be relatively low for a male vocalist.
It is actually, the world record for a male vocalist is 10 octaves, just because you have the lower vocal register as well as then the mid-range, the falsetto, then you have the whistle notes, and then you have everything else after that.
Right.
For us females, 5 octaves. I think at the moment currently it's 6 octaves, but that is without singing. So while singing, the highest vocal range is for Mariah. And I thought, I don't want to be average. I don't want to be, the normal sort of vocalist, the average vocalist in Sri Lanka, or to make it in the international market or whatever. So we practiced quite a lot, which I challenged myself, and me and my sister, we challenged ourselves so much. There were days where we would practice for like 10 hours. There would be days that we would practice continuous for 8 hours. And I'm talking not just talking, it's continuous singing, continuous dance and continuous workouts, which really helped us to get close to a 4.5 octave vocal range, which is really tough. But it just goes to prove that, if you put your mind to anything, and set your mind to do anything in your life, it might take time, but it's definitely going to work out.
Definitely, yes. That's
Yes.
true. That's true. And that's nice to hear. That's nice to hear. So that brings me to the next question. So when we talk about, this entails a lot of hard work. So it's not like a walk in the park. This entails a lot of hard work, as you say. Managing time, sacrifices, sleepless nights are all part and parcel of this career that you're in. So my question is, Umara, now if you take a person like Elon Musk, the founder of, who is so popular these days and who's claiming to be the richest person, he says that he sleeps in his factories because he doesn't want to waste time, and he works for about 20 hours plus a day. Now, it's always good to have hard work, but sometimes we might want to question, it's at the cost of what, right? If you take the family lives of the people and their personal lives, sometimes, if you take Freddie Mercury, has he achieved a lot? Yes, he is. But what happened to him? There's question mark. Michael Jackson, has he achieved a lot? Yes, he is. But what happened to him? It's a question mark. George Michael, we can go on like that, right? Now, I know that you are a family person, you have a son, and you're a very happy family person. So how important it is for us to manage work life, and there are two parts. How important it is to manage work life, and when you work hard and do all of these things, how do you manage that cost that sometimes might creep in and sometimes take you in a different route that you wanted to go?
Okay, firstly, I do agree to a certain extent with Elon Musk, because you are only young once and you can tolerate so much at that age. But when you reach a certain age, there's only so much that you can do. So
Yes.
I'm not trying to demotivate anybody or whatever it is, but after a certain age, for me personally, I want to chill. Like after my 40s, my 45, say I turn 45, I just want to chill and live life comfortably without worrying about the income, without worrying about this and without worrying about that. So yes, in order to do that, you have to work hard. You have to make a lot of sacrifices. I've made a lot of sacrifices. But I think the key is this. I have made every decision in my life that I have made, whether it's right or whether it's wrong, I do not regret. That's the only difference. I can choose to regret, or I can choose to move on from that subject. And when I'm committed to something, I'm 100% committed. That is just how we were raised as a family. So that has truly helped me. Unfortunately for me, my husband is really, really supportive. That makes it that much more easier. But everything relies on time management factor. I have a son. He's 7 years old. I have a beautiful husband, wonderful husband. I have my beautiful parents, my siblings, my family, my extended family. I have a very limited number of friends. I wouldn't even say, just maybe 5 closest of my friends. I don't associate everyone like best friends, although I'm in the industry. I like to stay in my own sort of bubble, my cocoon, and protect my family. And if you are considered one of my really close friends, you are considered my family, and I will go above and beyond for you. And everything is about balance. You have to work hard. So like I said, I apologize to you guys for coming in a tad bit late, because I'm organizing this event for my academy. I have a vocal academy, and I'm organizing this platform for my students to perform on stage, where the media and the giants in the music industry can watch them perform and select them and give them job opportunities, or recordings or whatever it is, because we did not have that sort of platform. So I've been breaking rest. We've been continuously working with that. We've had the audition process. So the past 2 weeks, I can tell you that maybe 2 hours. Now, even this morning, I had a virtual concert in Europe with Infinity and Sunil Pereira from the Gypsies and Atma Lienage. And by the time I came back and I got to bed, it was like 4:45. But you keep an alarm, you wake up, because the normal person works during daytime. Although it's a Sunday, every day is work day for an artist, for a vocalist. There's an interesting story. My parents are vocalists as well. They're musicians.
Yes.
And something that my dad and mom always says is that,
Tony and
Baba,
Aisha Sinhawansa.
Tony and Aisha Sinhawansa, every brick in this wall is a song that we have sung. So
Nice.
that actually has a lot of meaning, a lot of weight. We are fortunate enough to do appearances because the current world and how the industry has been built. But our parents came up the hard way, and my parents' came up the hard way. They are the ones who paved us the way. So they would start performing at about 8:39 in the night and go until 4-5 in the morning non-stop. And still, my mom and my dad, they would take turns. My mom would wait for us. She will stand and make sure that our school bags are packed. We have lunch for school. We have pocket money for the canteen and all of that. And while she's awake at that moment, my dad is taking a nap. And then when my dad wakes up, my mom takes a nap. So it's about, you have to sacrifice. And it's about compromising as well. You can't expect things to just come on a silver platter all the time. So you have to compromise. I always say this, behind the glitz and the glam, there's a deeper story. Especially for us Sri Lankans. We are fortunate enough to be considered A-grade artists. It's because of the effort and hard work that we have put into the industry. A lot of practice, a lot of sacrifice. We don't get to sleep, but I don't regret it because I know I'm working so hard because I want to retire early or chill. Just sing when I want to, record stuff when I want to, not worry about the income factor. You know what I mean?
Yes, and that's a really good one. Sometimes when I see all these big stars, that sometimes when you get used to this type of routine life, which is very, you have that work ethic, you have that charisma, you have that hard working skill. Sometimes you feel like I could postpone my retirement because you have got so much used to this style of living, and you say okay. And sometimes I have seen, when I watch these documentaries with the names that I told you before, they just don't want to retire. They think that what happens if I retire, I'm going to lose my smile, and they don't want to retire sometimes. And I could give you some examples as well. But my point is, sometimes people might want to think, why do we sometimes toil under the sun? Because what happens if you compromise something like a meal with your family? You compromise a nice gathering with your family because of work, because of let's say an accountant would say, I have this assignment to do, I have that assignment. A lecturer would say, I have to work on this is so important, and you compromise an anniversary greeting, you compromise something like that. As I said, but everyone in every industry has to do some kind of compromising. But at the end of the day, it should not harm the things and the people who are connected to you, isn't it, Umar? And what's your take on this? And I'm sure you're managing it very well, but what's your advice to the youth about this?
See, you need to first know what your priorities in life are. So I know what my priorities in my life, I know what they are. First comes family. For me, my priority is my family. My time with my family. It would be too late at some point. I hate to regret as a person. I hate to regret, and that feeling, I just do not like it. So this is something that I fear on a daily basis, regret. But even if I've made a mistake, I convince myself, okay, it has happened. It is what it is. I cannot indulge in that moment and be like, oh, this happened, and be negative about it. I try to be as positive as possible. Like I said before, you need to have a supportive system, like a proper support system. When you have a support system, you know what your priorities are, you know how to manage your time, you know how to balance everything else. Everything falls into place. You need to when you have to make sacrifices, you're not hurting anybody, because it happens. You have to sacrifice that time. You have to compromise that time, because it doesn't happen all the time. You know what I mean? You don't have to compromise all the time. You need to know what your priorities are. Family is first to me. My husband, my son, my family, and then comes everything else. And because if you are not happy as a person, especially as an artist, we are very emotional. Artists in like, what is the singer, a musician, a pianist, a keyboard, it doesn't matter. We are very passionate about our job. I'm talking about a professional and a person who knows the subject. We are very passionate about our job. And when we are so involved in our job, it's true. I cannot wait a day without working. That is so true, because that has been my lifestyle. Like I said, I always say, okay, I would love to just switch off my phone and just collapse for 2 days. But then again, every time I say that and I get an off day the next day, I'm awake by 7 o'clock. I'm awake by 7 o'clock. When the lights hit my eyes, I'm awake. And I have a problem anyway. I cannot sleep in the afternoons. Even when I was expecting my son, I never took a nap in the afternoons. So it's something that I have to work around. I mean, these are like the personal issues, like as a personal issue.
Sometimes work related, industry related.
In the industry. And also something that as an artist, whether we like it or not, we are public property.
Yes.
So
you have a reputation that you have to maintain.
So it's up to me for how long I want to sustain. How am I going to sustain? What is the secret to sustaining? I mean, to me, it's about time management, your dedication, and discipline. Your time management is really essential. That's an essential factor.
Very correct. I mean, I would like to share quickly. I'm the person who's supposed to ask questions from you, but with what you just said, I would like to share something about what you just said about this routine life. When I was lecturing CIMA, my work routine was 8 to 12 non-stop speaking, 1 to 5 non-stop, and then I go to Malasekarama for chartered accounts lectures from 5:30 to 8:30. And when I come home, I don't like to talk to my wife because I've been talking all the time.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
I realized but that was the life, and I used to tell her, this is the life and this is part of work, and maybe we could talk on Saturdays and Sundays. But now when I come to Canada, it's the opposite, because we don't teach like we are not supposed to teach like we teach. Like spoon feeding is not happening here. It's independent learning. And now I have time to talk with my wife, and I'm like, dude, what I did back in the day was not the right thing to do, and I realized that. But I just wanted to share that with you. And that brings me to the next question, which is a quote from Umara Sinhawansa. She says, I am a mother, wife, a daughter, a guru, and a teacher. If I can be all and balance all, so can you. Most importantly, whatever you love, master the techniques and acquire more knowledge in the subject. There are no shortcuts in life. You need to work hard. Don't be afraid. Don't give up. And success will be one step closer to you. So that's a great quotation, and my question is based on that. Now, Umara, for people to be as successful as you and especially your sister, do you believe in only hard work, or do you believe in divine blessing? As you said, you used at one point in this conversation, you said Almighty. How important is it? Divine blessing plus hard work, and how important? Because I could just tell you on top of my head so many talented people in different industries who have not got that exposure, right? They're so talented. It's just that they are not, you don't know them. They're out there. No one knows them. There has to be some kind of blessing for them to pop out. So, what's your take on that?
Okay. One thing, something that I noticed, let's talk about Sri Lanka. Our people are very negative about every single thing.
Yes.
And just think about this. We are always looking for something that we don't have. We never count our blessings. We are never satisfied with whatever that we have. But
Yes.
it's always about what we don't have.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, the latest phone is out. I just purchased, say, the iPhone 11, and then a few months later, the iPhone 12 is coming. Oh no, I have to get the iPhone 12. You haven't even used your phone, the new phone that you just purchased.
You're living to impress others.
You're living to impress everybody else.
Yeah.
And you're constantly complaining without doing anything for yourself. You expect everything to fall onto your lap, right? You think that God is not on your side. See, God will bless you in abundance when He knows that you're doing something, when He
Yes.
knows that you deserve something.
Yes.
So you can't just pray and be like, can I please have this contract by tomorrow, without making sure that I have my qualifications, without making sure that I have the certificates to prove that I have the experience, and go for the interview. You have nothing in your lap, and you pray to God and you're saying, okay, I need this job. Fine, you get the job. But then again, I was supposed to get this job, but then I got this job.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's just
Complain over complain.
complain over complain. The more
Compounding.
you're always attracting the negative energy towards you. This is something that I truly believe in through experience.
Yes.
You were talking earlier about your work schedule when you were in Sri Lanka. So
Yes.
right now, my story is a bit different right now. So I used to do lectures as well. I still do lectures,
Yes.
but I
Again,
haven't seen my son and my husband in a year. They're stuck in Hong Kong, and I'm in Sri Lanka.
Yes.
And I have my academy here, and I cannot
Yes.
just abandon all of my students. So what my husband said was, instead of you coming to Hong Kong and paying and staying in quarantine for 3 weeks, we might as well, you do your thing. I will make sure that that baby is okay. And so how I go mentally cuckoo in my head, because I miss my husband, I miss my son so much. It's also mental strength. It is how it works. So you were saying, so I start classes at around 9 in the morning. So it's all 1 hour sessions. It goes on till about 7, 8, sometimes 9 in the night continuously. Mind you, I'm singing and I'm talking continuously. It is because of that sacrifice and dedication and the work ethic that I have is why everything else is falling into my lap, because the Almighty knows that I'm working hard. I'm working wholeheartedly. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Fortunately for me, that is keeping me sane, and I have a good support system. But there are days where I need an off day. Switch off my phone. I just need time for myself. Not to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Just lock myself in my room and just not move or budge from the day. You need that. You're human. You need to have that. But where this is concerned, and another thing is, people give up.
They give up.
They
Yes.
give up because, okay, let's say I want, I'll give you a really good example. So I was watching local TV recently, and I was thinking to myself, wow. So there were a few teledramas that were playing, and they have the key, the theme part of the theme song play with the graphics and all of that. And I was like, I've been in this industry for about 18 years now. We started really, really small, young, and I was thinking, I've done everything, whether it's production, producing music, whether it's doing a background score in a movie, the audio engineering is concerned, working with the best in the industry, being the first female vocalist to do a collaboration with Shankar Mahadevan, being the first female to make it to the Chinese market, and all sorts of stuff. But then I was thinking to myself, the only thing that I haven't done is a theme song for a teledrama that's on local television. I would love to hear my voice. You remember Shanti and then all this stuff that go back in the day. They had their, key tag melodies and all. I was like, that's the only thing I haven't done. I really hope that I can do this.
Yeah.
Trust me. I just genuinely said, okay, this is the only thing I haven't done in this country, accomplishment-wise. And maybe 1.5 hours later, I get a call. Umara, there's this teledrama that we're planning on airing. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention the television station. Am I?
Yeah, you can. That's fine.
Okay, so Sirisa calls me, Marky calls me and says, Umara, there's a project like this. I think you're the ideal person for the vocals. But the thing is, it's a bit in a rush. We're in a rush to do it. I was like, yeah, absolutely. Send me the track and the melody. They sent it. I was like, you know what? Just consider it done deal. So the next day, I went for the recording. The next day, I recorded the song in about 2 hours. And right away, I went to Stein Studios. I shot the video. And the next day, it was released.
Wow.
This was the teledrama Kisa. So what I'm trying to say is, and it won an award. It won an award as well for one of the best theme songs and lyrics and all of that. So what I'm trying to say is, you think positive stuff, positive things, you will attract them.
That's correct. But that's a nice thing. There's a nice catch to what you said, in terms of never giving up. Now, I think Umara Sinhawansa was created for singing and, all things that are related to singing. Now, for example, if you take someone like maybe Sanat Jayasuriya, I don't think he was being made to be an accountant or anything like that. Yeah. I don't think you, Umara, was made to become like a boxer, like, I don't know, Muhammad Ali's daughter or someone like that. Now, if you of course thought that, my closest friend is doing boxing and she has won a title, I should do that as well. And you are meant to give up that because you were not made to do that, right? Because you're meant to do something that you're good at. So what do you think about this predetermined path that, things like what you just said, you were thinking about, singing a song for a teledrama and you get that opportunity. But what do you have to tell to the youth who sometimes select a path simply because someone else is doing it? Sometimes you do it, they do it for that. And they select paths and they obviously give up and they regret, and that results in frustration. So what do you have to say to the youth in selecting the right path?
Okay, the first thing is, you need to know and have a very close circle of friends who are in the same wavelength as you.
Yes.
Okay? Even up to date, you take a majority of the people, they are living a fake life. They are carrying the Gucci's, they are carrying the Louis Vuittons, and you name it. They are carrying every Tom, Dick and Harry. But when you go home, they don't even have a commode in their toilets. It's a squatting pan. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. They're just living a fake life. They spend so much of money on unnecessary things. But
keeping up with the Joneses, they say.
Yeah, it's a fake life. You're just trying to convince everybody else. My thing is, you need to convince yourself first and surround yourself with people who are genuine about everything that I do. In my case, my parents never told me that, Baba, you did an amazing job. You are the best daughter. You were the best out of everyone that was in the stage, that was on the stage. My parents never did that. Nor did my brothers, nor did my sister, nor did my friends. They would be like, okay, Umzi, there was this particular part, you were completely off. You need to get that done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Being very blunt and correcting.
Yes, blunt, but in a nice way.
Yeah.
Not to just like go, you know what I mean?
Condemning.
But I have a lot of parents who bring their kids to my academy saying that they can sing. Of
Yeah.
course, I understand the unconditional love that they have towards their children,
Yeah.
but they can't sing, and they are forcing these children, honestly, children to follow a path.
So do you say that they can't sing and they might be very hurt to hear that?
No, they have to pass an audition process with me.
Okay.
They have to pass an audition process with me. Only if they pass my recognition examination, they can come to my class. I'm very straightforward about it because I think that's also my upbringing. My dad always told me, there is always someone better than you.
Yeah. True.
If you think that you're the best, you failed as a person. This is where things go wrong.
I really like that. Yeah. There's always someone better than
There
you.
is always someone better than I. And also every time I a very
Basically, you can be replaced. You can be replaced.
you here's the thing. You are who you are. You're an identity. You're a brand. You
Yes.
establish yourself as a brand, and there's nothing else that can change that.
Yes.
Why compare yourself to something else?
Mm-hmm.
We are always comparing with something else.
Mm-hmm.
This is so funny. We used to compare. Singapore used to compare Sri Lanka and be like, you know what? We need to be like Sri Lanka at one point.
Yeah. Yes.
We talk about comparing. It's really sad. We only do the talking, but we don't do the walking. We just do the talking, but the walking is not done. We talk the talk, but not walk the walk.
That's
This is
correct.
something I truly believe in. And you don't have to impress the society. You need to first focus on yourself.
Mhm.
Me, myself, and I, not being selfish, but skill-wise. I'm a vocalist. The reason I'm successful, or I would like to think so, because I have a proper establishment and all of that.
You are.
The reason I consider myself successful is because I really, really worked hard. I learned the subject. I believe in doing things the right way. See, I want to sustain in this industry for as long as possible.
Yes.
It takes a tiny little fraction of a mistake to ruin everything that you've built. Example,
Yes.
as a vocalist,
Okay.
I practice every single day. Every single day, I practice. Even if I'm sick, I practice. Even if I'm sick, if I have to go for a show, I still go for the show. I go to the show and I perform. I never say, okay, guys, I'm really sorry, I'm having a bad day, but then I'm going to try to perform for you. These people, they spend an X amount of money to come and watch you perform.
Yes.
So you need to give your 1,999% of your energy and your skill. It is the audience that gets to judge you. Let
Yes.
them judge you. Did you do a good job? Did you do a bad job? If
Yeah.
the comments are bad, you need to anticipate it.
Yes.
You can't always expect to win. You can't always win.
Yeah.
Winning is not everything. Being first is not everything. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
that's it.
there's a way. It's about how you think. It's actually the mindset. You can be happy or you can be sad. It's up to you. What do you want to choose?
Yes. True. That's very true. And I really like that part where you said that you can be replaced, or your father saying that there's someone always better than you. SLIIT Global Education, who is the official title partner.
SLIIT Global Education is established for students who are interested in venturing past the higher education opportunities in Sri Lanka to explore avenues in countries such as Australia, Canada, UK, USA, Germany, and France. They have a network of 30 plus universities that they collaborate with to provide students with the best learning and holistic university experience. You can also avail exclusive scholarship schemes, especially if you are a student or alumnus of SLIIT. SLIIT Global Education also provides exceptional academic counseling services for undergraduate and postgraduate students tailored to their requirements. They also offer exert visa guidance counseling services and pre-departure training to all their transfer students. If you're considering pursuing your higher education abroad, feel free to give their friendly team a buzz.
Which,
Yeah.
which brings me to the next question. Umara, see, you are a talented person, your sister is a talented person, and I could name some very close friends of yours who are in the CA industry who are talented. Now, there are certain people who use shortcuts to get to higher levels. For example, if you want to get a good gig, maybe at a very branded company, a blue chip company is having a corporate event, and sometimes X might get an opportunity to sing because she or he knows the marketing director of that company, so on and so forth. And Umara can do 1,000 times better than that performance or better than X, but Umara doesn't get that. Why? Because Umara doesn't know the marketing director of that particular company. And talk about being so many opportunities that you get in this industry. Being a judge of a TV show, maybe a good corporate event, maybe you get to sing with an international artist, maybe. How do you look at things when this world is sometimes a bit I won't just use the word bit, but it's full of sometimes evil people, and they use biasness. They would do anything just to be on the top, and sometimes you regret. And I'm sure you'd have felt something like that in this career that you are in, this industry, and in your career. How do you respond to that? How do you look at it? What's your advice to the youth if they had to come across a situation like that?
It has happened to me in numerous amount of times. I had a hit record. I had just given birth to my son. Of course, I was a bit overweight. And because I was overweight, they refused to put me on stage.
Oh.
So I have a certain amount of what do you call this?
Tolerance?
Not tolerance. My values are very different.
Mm-hmm.
To me, my key and my skill, my tool is just this tiny little vocal box down here. It's not me revealing my skin. It's not me doing a very vulgar video and being half of almost fully exposed. That's not me. I don't want to live like that as a person. I mean, everybody else has their own opinions about how they want to go about the industry, but I want to do things the right way. I have a son, I have a husband, my background, my family background, my religious background. I try to balance everything in a certain manner where everything is covered. I love music. I do music to heal somebody's life. So when you talk about an event like this, I don't charge extravagant amounts. I charge a decent amount where a company can afford me, but the performance that they're going to get from me is 10 times the amount that they pay me.
Yes.
Okay, I have never been like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate that. If that happens, I'm not going to enjoy my musical journey. I'm complaining. I'm going to lose everything. So, and also if you take most of these artists who know so and so and they get the events, it's all temporary.
Yes.
It's like a spark and then they're gone. It's the same thing with the singing and the recordings and the new artists that are coming up. We are living in a tech-savvy era. We weren't before when we were coming up. They use a lot of auto-tune on their vocals and vocal correction, and they do the track, they mime the track, and then they're done. But when they put them on a live stage, they're completely lost. They're making a fool out of themselves. So even the person who actually had the money to pay him extra to be on stage watches you live, the company is going to complain. This is what we had on our show. It's not good for our brand.
True.
You get what I mean?
True.
So you need to, that's what I said, there are no shortcuts to life.
Yes.
Whatever that you do, you can't expect a carpenter to sit on a computer and start doing accounting unless he's like, you can't expect a Vadu boss, right? Or you can't expect a basu nahi to come and start doing the accounts, say in a bank, the next day, unless he likes to be a Vadu boss and he has already got his masters or whatever in accounting. That's a different story. But the same thing, you can't expect I don't know, a person, I don't know, maybe a tuk driver who has the worst voice to become a star overnight.
Yes. True.
If he or she doesn't have that skill,
Yes.
or that talent, or that hard work to sing, that's because he or she has not learned the subject. By learning, I mean, you're an accountant, it's because you've learned the subject. You're you're an engineer because you've learned the subject.
Yes.
Imagine you take a basun nahe to operate on a human being. I have appendicitis and I'm about to die. It's about to explode and I'm about to die. What's gonna happen to me?
Yeah.
There's no knowledge about, the knowledge about how to perform a surgery or the medicine or whatever it is. That person doesn't have the knowledge.
Yeah.
But they call themselves a doctor just because they cut a fish open and took out some eggs from its belly. You know what I mean?
True.
So this truly affects, and this is something, and it's always, you did an amazing job. You did brilliant. Oh yeah, I know, I did a brilliant job. Yeah, thanks. Everybody's saying good things to me. That probably is because I'm doing a good job.
Mm-hmm.
And they're actually falling into that sort of again because you're good. So
Like, Umara, have you seen people performing and saying that, well, if I got this, I would have done better than that? Have that feeling come across to you, and has that affected your career?
Oh, never. I'm a person who always appreciates another person's skill or talent or job, because I know the amount of hard work, how much of time, how much of sleep I have had to sacrifice to get to my point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm never going to be envious of somebody else. Like I
No,
said,
not a person who is genuine, but for a person who has gone to that position in the wrong way, by being biased and doing unnecessary stuff, and they just sometimes make a mockery of themselves when they sometimes go to perform, as you said, like a boss cannot do the work of a doctor.
I just feel sorry for them
Yes.
because they're actually making a fool of themselves and they don't know it. So the reason that they are there, it's not anyone's fault. It's actually how do you say this? Okay, it's like even the upbringing. It's the family. It needs to start from home.
Yeah.
And then comes the school. Then comes the education. Our education system didn't have anything about a tsunami. People didn't know what a tsunami was. We lost so many people.
Yeah. True.
And we are talking about mind and hand coordination. Even in Hong Kong, even my son's school, you need to learn to play an instrument whilst reading notations. We don't have that here. I have Visharadas coming here who actually have done the Visharada examinations, and they come here. My name is Visharada so and so, and I have so much of respect for the Visharadas. But when you get them to pitch a note, they cannot pitch a note.
Okay.
So what is going on here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I appreciate them coming to learn something from me.
Yeah.
But as a Visharada, that is like the highest regard I have for Shastriya Sangeeta in Sri Lanka. But when they cannot pitch something, when they cannot pitch a note, as a vocalist, it's like you asking an accountant, how did the answer, what is 2 plus 2? And they don't know the answer to 2 plus 2.
Yeah. True.
But you have completed your O-levels and A-levels.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So it's really sad. It's actually the people you surround yourself with and the way you look at things, the perspective. Like I said, you can choose to be happy, you can choose to be sad. If you're like, I know inside me, I know, okay, if I was given an opportunity like that, okay, I know this is what I'm going to do, but I never compare that moment.
True.
I never compare that moment.
That's really nice, and I really like that part where you say about
Welcome to SparkX, a platform that will groom you to have a leading edge over other IT students. We built this to give you the real skills to make you a superhero, actually a super talent. Being up on the game is really important, and that's why we researched what skills are really required by the IT industry. You will be surprised. It's not pure technical skills, but a combination of specific technical skills and soft skills that we offer, which no program out there in Sri Lanka teaches you. If you master these skills, you'll be assured a job in a leading IT company or the support to start your entrepreneurship journey. And that is why I teamed up with the best people to help you. Through a pre-selection process, candidates will be given the opportunity of a personalized mentorship with SparkX. The program is 6 months long and can be followed part-time while you study. Dedicated mentors with domain experts will connect you through live online learning and face-to-face boot camps.
That brings me to the next question there are two parts in this question, and we are coming to the last section of our podcast as well. So it's about work fatigue and being relevant. Now, see, as a musician, there is a routine life as we discussed before. Even if you're a lecturer, instructor, doctor, engineer, the doctors have to, look after patients. A singer has to sing, and a teacher has to teach. Now, I know some of my friends who are in the industry of music that you are in, who are in very popular bands, and sometimes I see their life. I can remember speaking to a keyboard player of a very, very popular music band in Sri Lanka, and I can remember I saw him at a wedding, and when I saw him, he was very tired, and when I saw him, I said, "Hey, hi," and when I told his name, he said, "Trevin, just give me one moment, I need to take a Panadol." And he went and he came. I said, "You look a bit sick, why is that?" He said, "No, Machang, when we came yesterday, api raya 3 wenakan gahuwa. And today we had to come to Colombo, Galadari, and we have to leave at 6:30 a.m. in the morning because sound check karanna. And we are playing those songs, and Machang, other hours at 6:30 we have to go and come again because Hilton again there is another wedding. And Machang, eka digatam tiyena Machang, and sometimes I see them during the break. Sometimes their family would call, "Hello, oh, Hari, nah, Hari." That's it, and that's just like one word answer, right? So I'm not saying that everyone is like that, Umara, but there are people who are balancing it really, really well. First of all, my question is, what do you think about this work fatigue? How do you get out of it, or how do you bring variety into it? I think one way of getting out of it is bringing variety into it. I see that you're having a school, you're training people, you're singing, and there's adding variety, but there is work fatigue in every industry that we are talking about. So
Sure.
with that, I'm coming to the next part of the question is, and how do you become relevant? Because it says, I got your description about you. Umara has hit many bumps in the road, especially when it comes to singing in Sri Lanka. Not all music genres were welcome here when you were singing, isn't it? Maybe you had to do some amendments. So two parts, work fatigue and being relevant. What do you think about that?
Work fatigue. This is again, it's about balance. I know we're living in a time where things are really, really tough, and you need to make ends meet. So what happens is you accumulate every opportunity that you have. So I said we work while we're young, and then we can retire. But there are two ways that it can be done. You enjoy what you're doing, pack everything up, you enjoy, treat yourself, know your priorities, and then you keep working. That is one. The other thing is, you want to retire, your family is anyway there, the ring is on your finger, that is sorted, the child is there, that is done, these are like ticks. Now I need to collect money.
Yeah, to-do list.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you're planning on retirement or whatever it is, or to pay your child's fees or school fees or whatever it is, you're just accumulating everything that you have. So even all this happens, the reason why you can't talk with your wife or your husband, and you have problems in your family, you have issues in your family, and then you're not able to talk, and then you're looking for somebody to talk to, or to to ease your problems or yourself from issues that you have. You're looking at somebody else, and then your wife or husband is assuming you have an affair with somebody, or you start having an affair with someone. All this is time balance. If you can balance your time, plan your day,
Yeah.
none of this would go wrong.
Yeah.
So even if you're working at a stretch, and also, I don't drink, I don't smoke as a policy from small days. I've never done that. I do my thing, I don't linger around. I finish my job. When I have the opportunity, I leave. I greet everybody, I talk to everybody, I leave. You would never see me mingling with my friends or I love all my musician friends. I see them, we are like crazy. That is my treat. To me, I'm talking about me. To me, meeting them somewhere is my treat, or going out, because I don't go out. I don't drink, I don't smoke. I don't hang out. I don't party. My partying and hanging out is seeing, example, if I see you at an event, hey, what's up? We chill, we talk, we're obviously having something, and that's about it. I finish my job, I leave. I'm accumulating a little bit of time. It may be half an hour, but that half an hour of sleep is a lot for me.
Yes.
So when you're hungover, when you've worked and you're accumulating a lot of it is management. It's your time management, basically. You need to make time for yourself. You need to prioritize yourself. If you are exhausted, if you are unhappy, even if you try to put on a face and go out there, that is not 100%, For me, whatever that I do, I need to make, it's like an OCD thing that I have. I need to make sure that I've done it 100%. Even if I did a mistake, although I tried 100%, I'm satisfied with myself. I'm content because I know I tried. What happened, and I tried. So time management and how you balance things is priority. And there were days where we used to do, like when I was at BNS, 7-8 shows sometimes. We start at 11 in the morning, appearance at this bank, appearance at this hotel, and then 8 o'clock in the evening we were in Colombo, and 8:45 we were in Nigambo Beach performing. So we sacrificed a lot time. We took a lot of chances. But there came a time where I needed to live my life.
Yes.
I wanted a family. I wanted a husband, a son, which is why I took a break from the industry, because I was working really, really hard.
Yes.
Super hard. And I was like 21, 22. I professionally started earning money at the age of 13. So I'm not saying that it was all for money. I just got paid for the work that I did when I was 13 years old.
Yes.
But that was one reason, and I never changed my priorities in my life.
Umar, just to interrupt you, have you come across situations where people have not paid respect or have not given that value that you deserve because their lives are miserable? For example, maybe people might think, oh, Umara apita yawa mehema karanna puluwan. Oh, Umara can be yawa me wage tak gala ganna puluwan. Umara we can get like this. Oh, Umara we can negotiate at that amount. Where there is where every person has a value, especially a hardworking person who has a reputation. You have a reputation, you have made your ground. And have you come across people who try to, take you for granted kind of things? I know, because this recently happened. There was this musicians who came to Canada, and before the show is tomorrow, these guys invite their closest friends, and show is happening the day before. And I know what they were doing was wrong, and I said, I'm not going to stay here, because I was invited as well, and I just had to leave because they were doing something wrong. Because they were giving accommodation. The show is tomorrow. They are doing the entire show today, and they couldn't just say no because the organizers are doing it. Now I know this is like a kind of a cheap shot. Now, have you come across people like that, and how do you deal with that?
See, everyone has something to say. Like I said, we are public property. Everyone has their own opinion about anyone. Something I believe in is you give respect, you get respect.
Yes.
So up to this date, when I go for a shoot or a recording or anything, from the person who serves the tea to the person who cleans the bins and the person who's cleaning, I thank them.
Yes.
You know, it might not mean anything. I'm not
Yeah.
gaining anything out of it. But to that person, it goes a long way.
Yes, true.
And you know, these are things that come around as blessings.
Yes, what goes around comes around.
What goes around comes around. And I always think if I do something wrong, it's going to come back to me. Maybe not me, it might affect my son or
Yeah.
my family.
Yes.
So it's also the way you think. And also, I don't know, it's, how do I say this? There have been times where people have said certain things to me, but just because a dog barks, you don't bark back at them. You just
Yes,
show
but
them love.
it sometimes
So
it
even
hurts
though-
when
Yeah.
when someone close to you does something like that. People who pretend to be friends, oh, we love you, we are part of a family, you know, we are so happy that you are Kiela, and they try to do, don't worry, I'll get Umara for that amount. Don't worry, and that has happened to me so many times. But I'm sure you would have come across situations like that. But yes, how do you go about it?
So like I said, I don't have friends. That is one thing.
Mhm.
And everyone who associates me, they know that if they, example, I'll just give a simple example.
Okay.
If I go out somewhere, let's say a club, and someone is, I don't know, not a club, any place, and you know there are men who would like to be seen with you,
Yeah.
you know, they're trying to be all cool and all of that. You know, I don't have those problems
Yes.
because I don't need to tell them that you need to be at arm's length or, you know, maintain your distance. It's my appearance as well as the way I conduct myself,
How you carry yourself.
how I carry myself. So if you're asking for trouble, you're asking for trouble.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And if you are true to who you are, if you know that whatever that you're doing in life is correct and you're not hurting anybody else, the Almighty is anyway going to bless you
Yes.
and things are going to work well for you. And I always have a filtering system. People have a lot of things to talk about. Apparently they know about my family life, they know about my son's life, they know about my great grandmother's life, where she's buried, but I've never met these people. But it's about how you take it. And
Yes.
if I get excited about it, oh my god, you know, I had a comment about this la 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 la. As an artist, you need to expect all of this. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yes.
You can't expect to not have any of those negative comments or people talk bad about you.
I mean, if everyone starts liking you, that's also a problem.
It is also a problem. Like I said, I'm public property, whether I like it or not. But I need to know how to differentiate my personal life and my professional life. That's the difference. You need to know where to draw the line. Up to this date, nobody would come and put the hand around me and take a picture, because it shows from the way I am or my body language. If I'm uncomfortable, I'm uncomfortable. So people tell, okay, so Anupama, she's my personal assistant right now. Her first opinion about me was Napuru Gani, because everybody thought of the industry, right?
Yeah.
නම්මාර කටක් තියෙන්නේ මූණ දැක්කද යා ඇඳුම් අඳින විදිය බලන්න යා ඔක්කොම branded අඳින්නේ. I don't have anything that is branded, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather spend that money on a beautiful vacation with my family. I don't believe in that, you know.
Yes.
What is my handbag? Oh, I have a $3 million ring, you know what I'm saying, given to me by a rapper. Like what is that? Honestly, what are you gaining out of that? Your life is temporary.
Yeah.
When the day we die, we only take the good and the bad. I'm not taking whatever talents that I have.
Yeah.
I'm not taking any of the certificates, the awards and everything that I've achieved. I just take the good and the bad. People will be talking. To me, I'm on a transit. So that transit, I want to make sure that it's going to be a good transit. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's
It's
temporary.
a proper transit. It's temporary. Everything in life is temporary.
Yeah.
You know, I always count my blessings. I always practice the 3 most difficult things that we find hard to, even in a marriage. We never say thank you. We never say please. We never say sorry.
Yeah.
because we have a lot of ego.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
if you say
True.
sorry, that means, okay, she won or he won. That is not how things work. It's about
Very
compromise. Somebody
Yes.
needs to take the initiative.
True.
And when you are happy, and when the other person is happy, everyone around us are happy. You're surrounding yourself with happy people who are willing to work really, really hard. So if just because somebody says, Umara is this, Umara is that, I am true to myself, and people around me, my friends, who I consider myself family, that's all that matters to me.
Very
Their
correct.
strength and their support is all that matters to me.
I really like that. Yeah, and the biggest virtue for a person, the most interesting characteristic of a person is where a person could look and say, look, what I did was wrong. What I did was wrong. Always, if you can, rather than pointing the finger at someone else, and if you can point the finger to yourself and say, if you did something wrong and if you're guilty about it, it's always nice because that will make a better world. So we could talk forever, but since we have time constraints, we come to the last question, and I cannot resist mentioning this. So for the ones who have seen me, you would have seen me performing in a
I
talent
have.
competition. No, I'm just talking for the people in general who are watching
Yeah.
this podcast. So I performed at a competition called Youth with Talent, which was organized by ITN as well as the Youth Council. Now, I have been performing for the last, I would say, 8 or 9 years, but there was no one who knew who Hannibal is, or Hannibal the Magic Warrior is. And this was because we were performing to the English speaking niche market in Colombo, and it was a very limited people who knew us. And then I thought I went to Sirasa, and there was one video, and that video, I don't know if you know this, Umar, it got 90 million views on Facebook because it was featured in the Got Talent Global, right?
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, there's some old things that I'm telling you. And when I decided to apply for this, there was a bunch of people who said, look, what are you doing? You're performing to the top-notch people, and you have a video which has 90 million views. What are you doing? I said, no one knows me. That's the reality. No one absolutely knows. There might be 90 million, 190 or not. No one knows me that much. I just want to just see what happens. So I do the first performance, and then there was a change in the judge panel, and I had to leave. I gave resignation basically, and I'm so thankful to Umara because Umar, as well as Chitral and Mr. Kishu and the rest, they were especially you, Umara, for convincing, for telling me. But she was not biased or anything like that, but she came and spoke. She was convincing me not to leave, and as a result of that, I came back. And although I did not win the title, it was a nice journey to the final and being selected to the final 6. And I think at the final, if you saw my comment, I said it was a nice journey. I came to the final. Mata මේ ටිකත් ඇති දින්නේ නැතත්
Yes.
කමක්. I said මේ ටිකත්, I didn't say දින්නේ නැතත් කමක්. I said මේ ටිකත් ඇති. I wanted to give a hint to the director saying that thank you so much for bringing me, but I see that the rest, they should be getting that particular vehicle or whatever the price or whatever. So the comments that Umara gave me, Mr. Kishu, Chitral, and all the other judges gave me was very valuable me. So I would like to thank you personally for being a great judge, a very honest judge, and for giving the comments bluntly and so on and so forth. It was nice to perform in front of an elite panel, and especially to perform to a person like you. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you
And-
so much. I had no idea that actually, had a major impact. I can understand you to a certain extent because I've had this similar experience in a different manner. But it would have been a waste if you weren't a part of that show, because you were also one of the contestants who carried a lot of weight in that show. And not just you as a person, just based on your talent and how you presented it. That was an amazing show, and I'm very grateful that I was a part of that show for 2 years in a
This
row.
brings me to the next question. What do you think
Yeah.
about being a judge? Because you were there for a long time in the show. You were in the second season as well as, or first from the first season.
I cannot actually remember.
I think
that-
second and third season for sure.
I don't know how many seasons there were because
Yeah,
we were
because
literally-
guys, look, the people who are watching it, they might think you just come for like 1.5 hours and you're sitting there. No, but since I was part of the production, because I was a contestant, sometimes the
Yeah.
judges, they come to the arena at around 3 o'clock, and sometimes they are there till midnight or next day morning.
Yeah, there were times where we were there from like 10 in the morning and leave the next day at 5 a.m. in the morning. So we would shoot 3 episodes at once, but everything was live and authentic. We
Yes.
never, that was the beauty of the show,
Because you can't
you
be judging like, come on, get to that. You can't be like that, right?
can't do that. Although it was a
It is a
recorded show.
competition. It's a competition, but at the same time, it's a TV show. I mean,
It's a
what
TV
happens
show.
if the judges are like sleeping? I mean, that's not going to bring any good rating, right?
Yeah, and also even for you guys, we never saw y'all until you performed it once. It was
Yes.
never repeated. So
Yes.
that was the beauty of it, I think. That show, it was not no, eka hariyata aven eka I ganna.
No.
Nothing of that sort.
Just
Where the
one shot.
competition, it was 100%. Everybody was like involved, honest opinions. Nothing was pretentious about where the judges are concerned.
Yes.
Our judgments and all of that. So I'm so thankful that I got to meet you through this this program. I think it was one of the most I would say another stepping stone to my journey as a judge, and the fact that they thought that I was good enough to be in the panel. I'm really thankful and blessed. I consider myself really lucky and blessed. And to you, Trevin, I know you've worked really, really hard. You too have sacrificed a lot in your life, and I'm really happy at where you are today, genuinely, wholeheartedly, because people who work hard, they deserve everything that this world has to offer, not through money, but through their hard work and dedication and commitment to what they do. So at some point in your life, you will be given that recognition, and I truly hope wholeheartedly that all your dreams and your wife's dreams come true, and more than anything, that you stay happy, stay content, and count your blessings more than anything, and not think about the things that you don't have, rather than appreciate the roof that is above your head, the bed that you have to go to sleep in, the food that you get, the friends, so many other things that everyone is. I truly hope that everybody starts using the 3 words. First, sorry, to apologize. It doesn't downgrade you as a person.
Yes.
It just elevates you as a person. The word sorry, please, and thank you. Practice it at all times. That's the advice that I can give everybody who's watching today. And thank you.
Yes, and there you go. So I wish that we could, discuss and I wish we could have extended this podcast. Because of time constraints, we have to close. But yeah,
We
so
could go on. We could go on and on and on.
We could
Forget the
go on.
fact that you're all the way in Canada and Sri Lanka. We could still go on. That's not a problem.
I know. So, before we close, Umar, I would like to hear you just closing remarks. What do you think about this Luminary? It's organized by AIESEC in SLIIT, and it's a podcast where it's crazy what technology can do, isn't it? I'm in Vancouver, Canada, and you're in Sri Lanka, and we are able to connect because of this. And what do you think about this? And what do you feel about this session and this short
You
chat
know,
that we had?
it's short, but then there was a lot that we spoke about, and this is what I live for. To use my platform to speak to my fellow fans and followers and everybody else that's watching. You don't have to be, a fan or whatever, but then, to talk about real things in life, not the fake unnecessary topics about, okay, how do you grow your hair, how do you grow your nails, what color nails should I. That is your personal life, but then talking about realistic things like this is truly motivational for me. I feel like I've done an amazing job, not for anything, because I feel like for me it was constructive,
Yeah.
it was positive. I started my day with something that is motivational, and I'm driven for the day. You know what I mean? I learned a lot from you with the questions. Things that I would not remember. Was we were talking about it as well. I'm truly grateful, and I apologize to the entire committee for not being able to do this before. It's just that I was a bit caught up with work, but I'm super. I'm always up for stuff like this. I did a couple of stuff for AIESEC as well before, and this has been amazing. Thank you so much for having me wholeheartedly. Continue to do this. Our people need positive and meaningful, constructive interviews and sessions like this, because we need to put sense into people and tell them that life is serious. We need
100%.
to take it really, really seriously, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. Thank you so much.
You bet. And before I close, let's say you said that you interview Visharadas and people have to go through an audition to come to your school.
Okay.
Well, let's
Yes.
say, for example, I'm just planning this and I need to get permission from the boss. That's Umara. She owns the school. And let's say there is a magician who wants to do a show in Colombo.
I've watched you. So
Yeah.
you're through.
A magician wants to do a show in Colombo, and in part of that, there are some baila songs that he has to sing.
Yeah.
And the magician is not that good in singing, and he wants to, make the audience at least sing to the pitch, and at least to have that, to get closer to the skill of what is acceptable. Now, can a person come to your academy and get some training like that?
Of course, that's exactly what I do.
Okay.
Now, in your case, you play the piano and you
I
sing.
know only a few chords. My grandmother played piano, so I know only
Yeah.
the easy chords. So yeah.
It doesn't matter whether it's easy or not. You play the piano. It's a
Yeah.
fact. And you can play to it. You play and you can sing to it on key. You're welcome to my academy anytime. I'm doing a lot of personal one-on-one sessions with a lot of musicians in Sri Lanka as well.
Nice. So if a person wants to come and I could give you like, hey Umara, I learned to sing these ABC songs, and would you please train me to sing at a level that is acceptable in if you were the judge, where you would give me a yes or whatever, I don't know. That is
Oh,
possible.
absolutely. And in return, you need to teach me some tricks.
Why not? Why not? I have about 50 terabytes of magic lectures. Oh my goodness. My wife, sometimes she would not let me practice this stuff because she takes that you don't have time to talk with me, but watching magic lectures. But anyway.
Maybe she can join hands with you.
True. But all in all, as I said, it was so nice to talk with you, Umara. And thank you very much for taking your time to take part in this podcast. And I myself learned a lot of things, and I changed. Sometimes I learned to look at certain things in a different angle with what you just said, and it was so nice to have you. And we wish you all the best. And there you go, guys. That's it from the Luminary for today. And until we meet next time, it's time to say goodbye and take care. Cheers.
Thank you. God bless.
That's this week's episode of The Luminary. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode. Thank you for listening.